Welcome to Money Talks, a weekly feature on FM 93.5 The Berg and WMEG AM 740. Today we will talk just a little bit about money, maybe some of the things you can do with it, how it can impact your life, some ideas on financial planning and investing, and getting the most out of the money you hope to have, already have, or want to pass down. So sit back, relax, listen, and maybe take some notes, as you may have some questions by the time we're done with this edition of Money Talks. How are you today, Dan Joss?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Glad to hear it. Good morning to you. So, Money Talks. You know, we have talked a lot about different things about money, but we haven't really talked about what money is. So, let's go back to the very basics there. Tell me what money is.
Let's talk about what money is. What is money? I've heard money makes the world go round, and I've heard money is a necessity, and people view money differently. I've heard of a tool, a resource, all kinds of things. And to some degree, money is a necessity to a point, as it meets our basic needs. But money is a medium of exchange and allows us to do commerce. We used to have to barter for things, right? Then societies kind of got away from that, and we'd use things.
It's heard of tax barters.
That's right. it's under the table.
Well.
Or is it over the table?
Depends on what you're bartering.
Maybe a table is part of the barter.
It could be. Maybe it's a meal.
Well, speaking of meal, salt in Eastern Africa was their form of money, just like cheese in Italy or tea bricks in China. We've used natural resources as money for centuries.
And we still deal in commodities.
Silver and gold.
Right.
We've since moved away from commodities to fiat money, where we're relying on the credibility of the government to represent value of money. In relation to other countries, we're in a pretty good position.
That is very true.
That's where the currencies and the money is actually valued every day,
right?
Based on promises made or broken. Great Britain, you may remember, outlawed foreign currencies for the colonies. That's how they controlled the colonies.
All right, that makes
Commerce
sense.
had to be done, and we couldn't trade internationally because we couldn't use.
Nobody wanted that money.
We couldn't use our currency, and nobody wanted their money. Yeah. So,
okay.
But Massachusetts in 1652 actually coined their own money, and then other colonies started to do the same, and we had a battle. And after the Revolutionary War, we empowered Congress to coin money,
right.
And then the state or the colony monies went away.
Okay.
Then we were good for a while. Then we had the Civil War, and the South created their Confederate money.
Right.
And then that went up on inflation, and then that devalued.
Of course.
And now we're back to money. Actually, now we're into bitcoins.
Yep.
There's some more non-money money or some non-government money.
Currently.
So we'll see what the value of that is.
Right.
So money is not wealth. Next week we'll talk about wealth.
Okay.
But money is a necessity, and it changes in value every day. And the purpose of it is to make our lives easier. Actually, going back to the colonies, before money it was ammunition, tobacco, nails, but same kind of thing. Let's move to something that everyone values so that we can better do trade.
Right. Okay.
So what we have today is the dollar, the greenback, the U.S. dollar, or representatives of that in our checking and savings accounts with our swipe cards and our watches that send money electronically.
Right. So we're just going to get to a series of debits and credits, and we may not actually touch money much in the future.
I think there's a movement towards that because of ease, but also then you have security issues and all the unintended consequences of that.
Right.
And we may go back to the barter system.
Okay.
Which is hard to tax.
12 chickens or 12 pigs? Which is it today?
All right. So money facilitates trade. It's a measure of our time and talent, purchasing goods and services easier for society. And the value of that, of those goods and services, really depends on supply and demand, regardless of the money that we're using.
Right.
If it's a really good service, we need more money to obtain that. Okay. Like concerts. Famous people charge more than not so famous people.
And they actually get it, because I could charge a lot, but nobody'd show up.
That's right. And if you had $1 million of $1 bills, but you were on a desert island, they don't do you any good.
That's true.
Except maybe you could start a fire and stay warm for a little bit with it.
Right.
So it's only as good. Money is only as good as the perceived value of it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's
Okay.
a lot for us to talk about on Money Talk. All right, Dan Joss, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and talk to you about money or financial planning, what's the best way for them to do
They
that?
can give me a call at 757-903-2127.
All right, and your website?
jossfinancial.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.